Question from Maria.
Coach, you've played in this league, coached in this league. You know how hard it is to go through this league undefeated. And that's what South Carolina's done with 2 games to go. What challenges basically all over the court does South Carolina present to you tomorrow night?
Well, I think obviously you start with their size, not just on the interior, but, kind of across the board. They do a great job of being patient offensively and getting what they want. They're shooting the ball well. Their percentage is really good. Their transition offense is terrific. And they're getting about half of their misses on offensive rebounds. So they're just it's not a secret why they're successful. They're doing all of those things really, really well each and every game. And I think it starts there. And then they've got one of the best defenses in the country. With, again, their size, their shot blocking ability, and the ability they have to keep you off the boards as well.
Kelly, I didn't realize this till I saw someone pointed out on Twitter Sunday night, but 12 wins in the SEC is the most for Tennessee since the 2014-15 season. It's the most for you in your tenure at Tennessee. Just can you kind of say what that means to you to reach that point, especially just given what this team has been through, for them to still accomplish something like this, and what that says about your team?
Well, I think we've got good players, and we can win games. We've won a lot of games in a really tough league. I'm proud of our team for getting to that point. I think it's shown quite a bit of consistency to be able to get to that mark. It's we talk about this a lot. It's hard to win. It's hard to win. And, we're pleased with kind of some of the growth that we've had. And I'm also still excited about where we can go and what we have left to do. But that's a big number.
Kind of a quick follow-up to that. It seems like every other conference, when it comes to rankings, gets rewarded for conference wins, and there's only 2 SEC teams ranked at this point. Just curious if you think the SEC, deserves to have more than 2 teams ranked, or deserves more respect for winning in conference, especially for a team like yours who has 12 wins in one of the toughest leagues.
I do. I think the SEC is being underrated right now. There's a lot of parity in our league, and I think we're getting punished for parity, the league as a whole. And I say punished, I mean, in terms of rankings, punished, but there are a lot of teams that are very talented in our league, and it's tough. It's a tough league.
Go next to Casey.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Coach, what do you think is an area where you guys can really excel tomorrow against South Carolina? Something that you see in their game that you guys might be able to penetrate through and really get the advantage over them?
Well, not sure exactly. I think they're really solid. They just don't have a lot of weak points. In years past, you might have said you want to let them shoot the ball out on the floor, but they're shooting a really good percentage now. I think it's a challenge. I think you've got to be really good. I think you got to try to find, maybe the matchups that you want, maybe some spacing that you want. And to me, you just got to be really aggressive. If you're gonna compete again and give yourself a chance to make plays. I don't know that there is one certain thing that we would be trying to look at as our strength going into this game, but we're just looking at it as a whole. And our players are going to be fired up and ready to compete, and I think that's a good start.
Go next to Howard.
Hey, Coach, thanks for the time as always. Couple for you. You mentioned about the amount of rebounds that South Carolina grabbed. You guys are obviously sixth in the country in rebound percentage total as well. How much do you feel as if being able to neutralize that advantage in South Carolina is critical to winning this one?
I think it's a huge stat, and they can really change the complexion of a game on the boards. Our board play has given us great opportunities this year, and I love how much better we've gotten. But they're 50% that's just a ridiculous number. I mean, I think it's 49 really, but that's another level. And so for us, I think it's going to be critical that every single time the shot goes up, we're disciplined in what we need to be doing. And that doesn't mean you're going to get them all. You're not gonna shut them down there, but you've just got to make sure that is a point of emphasis and you're battling in that area.
And I guess the flip side of it is they're obviously terrific on the defensive boards as well. And so the fact that you guys are coming into this, 3 of your best 10 offensive rating performances this year have been your last 3 games. How much does your next level of efficiency help you as you prepare for this one?
Well, I think it's good because I think we're in better habits to be able to get in there and give ourselves those opportunities. You have to work a little harder. You have to be a little quicker, maybe anticipate a little bit better to be able to find those opportunities, just because they can just grab defensive boards because of their size. We've just not faced this size in quite a while. So we understand that you're not just going to skip in the lane and grab an offensive board. That's not happening on Thursday. So you got to be able to move some people around.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Maria.
Coach, looking at various outcomes happening in the last week or two, especially close games in particular. This is when everybody's pretty much running on fumes. I mean, every team is just trying to get to that finish line. You, of course, have extended your bench as much as you can in a lot of games. How do you feel like your team is conditioning wise at this point to make it through this final week?
I feel pretty good about it, to be honest with you. I think we've been strategic on how we have practiced and where our off days have come, and I think we've been also very strategic how we handle the weight room and their conditioning level during this time. One of the things that I've continued to be impressed with here at Tennessee is our recovery and how our athletic trainers and medical staff really work with our players individually to get them feeling as good as they can possibly feel with elite level recovery. We're constantly talking to our team about how they feel and what their bodies feel like. So I feel pretty good about that. Obviously, we've tried to play several people. We get some minutes in, and I think that's been important as well.
Kellie, just from the schedule, you really couldn't be more prepared to take on, the undefeated reigning national champions. What do you feel like your team has taken from those experiences of big games, like playing at LSU, the big game at UConn at home? What do you feel like they've taken mentally from just playing in a big game like that, and how they feel going into Thursday?
Yeah, I think the best thing for us is just the experience and having been in these games and having confidence when you step out there. I think that's important, because if you don't have that, you don't have a chance in a game like this. And I think our players do. They feel comfortable in that environment. And I think that's also really important going into the game on Thursday.
Arthur.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to check in. I don't anticipate you're going to tell me any tricks of the trade here, but is there anything that you saw Ole Miss did well against South Carolina at home that you might be able to duplicate in this game?
I think they mixed up their defense a little bit, but as every team, you've got to be yourself, and I think we may have some similarities with Ole Miss, but we don't have completely the personnel across the board that they do. So I think what you do when you're going into a game, you watch the games that have been played, you watch how other teams have played your opponent, and you're trying to pick out some things here and there that maybe would work for your team. I think that's not just true for the Ole Miss game, but for all the games that are played. And honestly, this is not just true for South Carolina, it's true for all the teams that you play. So that's how you do your scouts. You see what has worked, what has not worked, what maybe you could duplicate if you needed to make some changes.
Chloe.
You guys have had the privilege to play, to do some pretty big matchups at home, like UConn and some other ranked, opponents. And Ole Miss took South Carolina to overtime in their house a few nights ago. So I guess, and the last time you guys played South Carolina, and TBA, you guys beat them. So how important is it to have these huge matchups at home and to be able to play them in TBA?
Oh, I've said it. I want to play all of our games here in Knoxville. They won't let me do that, but I want to. I think it's fun to have this game here. I think it's a great environment anytime you're playing a game here in Thompson Bowling Arena. But we're gonna have 10 or 11,000, I suppose, and should be a lot of fun. It should be a great environment. Our fans will get into it. There's no doubt that they give us a boost. They give us a lift, and that's why playing at Tennessee is so special.
Coach, you've gotten double figures in scoring out of Tess each of the last 4 games, and her 2 highest minutes of the season have been the last 2. What is allowing her to reach another level, and what are you seeing out of her more specifically in her game?
Yeah, well, she's always been able to shoot the ball well. We've been able to find her a little bit more. She's getting it off a little bit quicker. She's playing with a little bit more confidence to even take those shots. I would say one of the biggest areas, though, of growth has been on the other end of the court. Her defense and rebounding has been very solid for us. And because of that, it keeps her on the court longer. We don't have to take her out for defensive reasons. And when you can keep her out there on the court, it stretches the defense, gives her opportunities, and her teammates are finding her. But she's played terrific. I'm really proud of how she's played and how her teammates have continued to look for her.
Appreciate it.
Casey.
Coach, I know that some of the emotions got out in senior day, but with this being the last home game of the regular season, have the players expressed any emotion for those seniors that are going to be playing their last home game or potentially their last home game, or any concerns just about the emotions that could flare up with it being that final go at it at home?
We haven't talked about it, and I haven't got a feel for that being something that they're dwelling on or thinking about. That to me might be something that catches you right after the game, as much as anything, because there's a lot going into this game. There's a lot of I want to say emotion or competitive fire. There's a lot of feelings leading up to the game that I think will be the dominant feeling. I don't know that it would be the emotions after the game. It's when it hits you pretty hard. So I could see that might be coming as well. But I think they know that. But with the game in itself, they're really just locked into that right now.
Maria.
Coach, you've of course locked up 3rd place in the SEC and the number 3 seed, and you don't have to scoreboard watch these next 2 games. I guess that always is sort of eases a team just a little bit. You know what's happening next week. And then the second part, Tamiqua Holzclaw, of course, in town as a benefit for the Lady Vols Booster Club. How nice will it be to have her there at the game too and see your former teammate?
Yeah. So first, yes, I'm excited to have an idea of what's going to happen next week. We know where we're at. Again, to do it early enough to me. I'm just proud of our team, the consistency to be able to know you're not playing until Friday. I think that's a big deal. Tamiqua, so just in case y'all hadn't heard, the NCAA did grant her like an extra 2 games. And so she's going to come and play on Thursday, actually. So I can get her in for a few minutes. She won't be on the scouting report. So we should be able to surprise them with that one. I wish that were a true story. That'd be a lot of fun to be able to put one of the greatest of all time out on the court. But it'll be fun to see her and have her back.
Cora.
Coach, obviously they have Boston and Cook that are 2 elite level players. How do you even go about slowing down 2 players like that?
Well, I think the challenge is everyone else around them. Boston, you want to limit her touches as best you can. Cook, you want to make sure that she doesn't have any open opportunities. You don't have any breakdowns to leave her open, but then you've got to do a great job guarding one-on-one because she's quick off the dribble as well. She's not just a shooter. That's the initial guard, right? That's the game plan on them, but you've also got to guard them both in transition. You've got to keep both of them off the boards. And then you can't have breakdowns elsewhere that's going to lead to opportunities for them. And, this team that we're playing is much bigger than just 2 players. Those 2 players are terrific basketball players, but everybody else around them and doing their job really allows those 2 to shine.
Marie.
It was kind of a fun follow-up with Tamiqua. If you went one-on-one today, you and Tamiqua, who wins?
I mean, the competitor in me would love to say that I could take her, but yeah, no, that's not happening. I would love to say that, but not so much. Not so much. I don't know if she's done anything recently. I don't know what her game is like right now, but I got a feeling it wouldn't matter.
All right. Thank you everyone for jumping on with us today.
Cora, I want to say congratulations to you for your award. That's really cool, very deserving.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
See you guys.